It's a little bit windy today, but I wanted to put an update up because there are things happening that while I'm thinking about them, I want to put them up. So the situation here in Ireland is pretty dire, to be honest. It's not a good situation. Nobody's taking responsibility for anything. Nobody is accountable. The Parliament is off. The Dáil, it's called the Dáil, the Parliament here, and it's off at the moment for the summer recess, or whatever you want to call it. But nobody can get anything done in this country. All the services are stretched to the absolute maximum, to the limits. There's no accountability at local government level. There's no accountability at national government level. I'm just getting reports in left, right and centre. I've talked to different people. I make it a point of talking to people and finding out what's happening with them. People can't get accommodation. People can't get various services like health services. They can't get appointments in time. And the mainstream media here in Ireland is whipping up a frenzy again about COVID and the new variant, EG.5 or Eris or whatever one is around these days. You can see they're gearing up. Obviously the media is lockstep with them. There's no accountability when it comes to the media. Just no accountability, and people are being left to their own devices. The people are being left just hanging there with all sorts of problems going on in society. You could go to the council building, and there'll be nobody there. There'll be actually nobody there, or else there will be somebody there, and they're not actually from the department that you want to be talking to, and it's chaos here in Ireland, absolute chaos. So now the wind is catching me again there, but it's just chaos. It's there's various people have told me about different situations they have, different problems they have, and the problems they've tried when they've encountered. The problems they've encountered when they've tried to get someone to do something, whether it be a medical issue or whether it be a housing issue or a welfare issue. It's just chaos here in Ireland. So just be aware that if you're watching this video from abroad and you're thinking of coming to Ireland, there is a serious problem with accommodation. Hotel rooms are exorbitantly expensive. People are arriving thinking they're cool with their backpacks, only to find that there's nowhere to stay. So, where I live in the city, there are bed and breakfasts across the road from me that are mostly for homeless people. Actually, mainly for homeless people. And the situation is so bad, there's actually an elderly couple living in one of the bed and breakfasts. Hopefully they'll get sorted, they'll get moved on. I know there are properties vacant, and they're just... Look, you're going to have to blame sociologists and sociology for a lot of what's going on in society at the moment. You had a German sociologist called Ulrich Beck, and he wrote about risk society. And as a consequence of some of his writings, a lot of people don't take risks anymore. They don't. Like, I've just been lying down in the grass over across the way, and I kind of was laughing to myself, because if I was to believe everything in the mainstream media, I wouldn't go outdoors. Don't get too much sun. Watch out for Lyme's disease. I was laughing, lying in the grass, and I was watching a ladybird, or ladybug as they say in the States, and I was laughing to myself, you can get a tick and you can get Lyme's disease. It was all in the media there not so long ago. And it's made a society that's risk adverse. And then you've got the fringe of people on the fringe of society who go to extreme risk taking. So, I mean, anyway, the other issue then is, I hate even saying the expression, the LGBT. Look, LGBT community is, to use a libtard expression, is a social construct the thing doesn't exist. I actually studied it. That's what I specialised in for my master's in sociology. The LGBT community does not exist. And what has happened is the movement has been highly politicised and has been hijacked. So you've got these people claiming to be spokespeople on behalf of the LGBT community. I can't do the air quotes and record myself at the same time, otherwise I would be. But the whole thing has been hijacked, and a lot of people who would identify, whatever you want to, who are lesbian and gay, they don't want to be part of it. They don't want to be associated with it. I've spoken to a good few of them. And they want nothing to do with what's going on with the kids' books in the schools and the trans movement and the trans ideology being pushed on people. They want nothing to do with it. So, unless and until individual lesbians and gays start speaking out, like the Gays Against Groomers on Twitter and stuff like that, Facebook, unless they start speaking out, they're going to be lumped in together as part of the same thing. And what we're seeing now, and I predicted it, is we're seeing people turning against lesbians and gays. And you had a situation there in the United States where a woman had a pride flag hanging in her shop. Apparently it was huge, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. And some man tore it down, and she got into a fight with him, and he shot her dead. Now that's an extreme example, but I said this would happen. I said that people would start turning openly against lesbians and gays, and it's happening. So the lesbian, gay, whatever you want to call it, movement, pride, all that kind of stuff, that's been hijacked. It's been completely hijacked and politicized, and it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. It's as simple as that. Now there's a few people around, so I have to be careful what I say. We had a situation here in, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. So you've got another situation going on where you've got this mass of people in society who believe the mainstream media, who watch the mainstream media, who read the mainstream media. I do it just to know what's going on. But and then you've got people like myself and the people I hang out with. And the people I hang out with are kind of like, why aren't we getting through? Why are so many people still going to line up for the boosters and all this kind of stuff? And it's because the people that I hang out with don't pay attention to what the mainstream media is saying, and they don't realise that the rest of the population is completely brainwashed and enthralled to the mainstream media narratives and to the government narrative and stuff like that. So they don't realise it. So on the one hand, you've got people who are in their own kind of echo chamber, which I'm part of, but it's not a bad place to be, considering the crap that's going on. But then you've got this huge number of people on the other side, so to speak, who are in their echo chamber. And we're not making contact. It's getting harder and harder to talk to people. And we've been demonised and vilified by the mainstream media here in Ireland, and we're called far right, and we're called fascist, and all kinds of things. And all we're trying to do is, we're literally trying to save people's lives. So, and we're being vilified for it. So I'm not going to go back into the trans issue, except to say that, you're going to see a hardening on both sides. So the people who object to children being transitioned, inverted commas, they're going to become tougher on their stance, and they're going to even start saying we don't think it should be done to adults. So that's going to happen. So the blackberries were over a month early this year, so there were none to eat. I came out and looked for them too late. You're going to see a hardening of positions on both sides, and this thing about what I said about the government and the local government and no one taking responsibility and no one being accountable. Again, you can kind of blame another sociologist for that, another German sociologist for that matter, Jürgen Habermas, with his flattened hierarchy. I forget the title of the book. I read it many years ago. And as a result of that kind of teaching being given to kids in the schools and stuff like that, you had things like the Chaz up in, was it Oregon or Washington State, the autonomous zone, where no one takes responsibility, no one is in charge, and that's preached to these people that no one is to be in charge, no one is to take responsibility. And you saw what happened as a consequence of that over in the United States. So, but that's also what's happening with our national government, our local government, the councils, our representatives that we're supposed to look out for us. And nobody's looking out for us. No one is looking out for us here in Ireland anyway. No one is taking our side, no one is defending us. The opposition may as well just be in government because they seem to be opposed to nothing the government does. And the government just does whatever it wants. So they're still letting illegal immigrants, and that's not a popular thing to say, I know, but they're still letting them flood into the country. And they're getting accommodation and they're bringing their culture into our society. They're not acclimatizing, they're not, I'm not forgetting the word now, but they're not mingling properly with us. And there's videos going around on social media every couple of days of fights breaking out and between the migrants and the natives, so to speak. And the whole thing is falling apart. But that's by design. It's by design. We know it's by design. That's what they want. They want a great reset. So just letting you know how things stand in Ireland at the moment and my thoughts on it. Okay, ciao.